Amy and Sam. Brenda won't be here tonight. Grace and Brez and our director. All right. So since we have an approval here, we'll establish quorum. And did we have meeting minutes for May?
I sent it off last time.
Yeah.
I should have sent them off this time, but they
Yeah. I didn't have a chance to look at them. I had a printer this out.
Oh.
Did everyone else have a chance to look them over?
Yeah, they're not in the packet.
They're not in the-
Matt, run them off real quick.
It's okay. Did anyone have any changes to make to the meeting minutes? For May?
No.
Okay. Motion approved meeting minutes for May? I'll second it. Okay. Then we'll approve the meeting, minutes for May 2025. It feels like it's been months since.
Yeah.
And I'll hand it over to Kevin.
All
for our
right, yeah.
report.
So I'm going to try to be as brief as possible, but it has been a busy past couple of weeks at the library. Thank y'all for those of you who made it for our chamber coffee that we hosted. It was great. We did it with the Friends of the Library, who has a new board president, so he got to introduce himself to the community. It was really great seeing the library full of people that weren't screaming children at story time. But it did a lot of goodwill, and it's always a really great way to kick off our summer reading program. I have submitted a budget and had budget negotiations with City Hall. Didn't get everything I wanted this year, but I'm assuming City Council approves the budget. I'm very happy with where we are in the budget. Our big priorities were staff, and those recommendations were considered, and I think we're in a good place there. I do have a big update from the Friends of the Library. They had an emergency meeting, which makes it sound like a bigger deal than it was. It was not a regularly scheduled meeting. I was able to get in touch with Bob, the president, and he brought in enough members to hear another presentation from the Oklahoma Department of Education about starting a Dolly Parton Imagination Library in Madison County. Now, Crescent, their school district foundation, funds one for the kids in the Crescent School District, but the rest of the Logan County is not covered. And unfortunately, Logan County is one of the few counties in Oklahoma that has not been able to get this program off the ground. Why is it not off the ground? It's expensive. It's not expensive per child. The state's covering half the cost. Dolly Parton puts those books in there cheap. It's doing the math. The books cost less than it costs to mail a book. It's amazing that they can do that, but when you consider all the children in Logan County, it is more money than they're able to put on at a time. So they discussed it, but they are still very interested in doing it, so they are going to launch some fundraising efforts to try to raise the money to get that started.
Do you know how many children are in Logan County? Did they give those numbers? And it can be approximate,
I ran my own numbers. So the program covers children under the age of 5, which according to the most recent census would be about 2,639 thereabouts. And when we get to the item number 6 on the agenda, I'll go over some of the numbers in a little bit more detail. But I just want everyone to know that that is something that the Friends are looking at fundraising. All right, so much programs going on since the last time we met. This is our busy month. If you walk through the lobby and saw some of my staff, they're okay. They're just a little bit tired. We had programs going on every single day that we were open, and they were our biggest programs of the year, other than the trunk or treat for Halloween. We moved our story time to Mineral Wells Park for the entire month of June. Currently, in July, we have the Master Gardeners that are assisting with story time. But the story times at Mineral Parks are much bigger than the ones we have here. There's a lot more room over there. Also, the Guthrie School District does their meals, and it just happens to be at the same time we're doing the event. So that's at least the second year in a row we've been able to do that, and it's been very beneficial. The kids got to go on a field trip to the Woodbrook Museum in Tulsa. This was a free cost to the kids that were signed up for it. I talked to the chaperones afterwards. Everyone had a great time. They got to explore the entire building. Made me feel real bad that I was here covering the library, so they could go off and have fun at the art museum. But I'll make my way out there one of these days. Something that's been really simple but really impactful here is our weekly scavenger hunt. So it's every Monday we hide literary characters in the children's area. They have a little bingo sheet. There's one on the desk right now. And if they are able to find all of the things, they get either a button or a sticker. Just the sticker because the button's got sharp things and in some cases probably not safe for animals too. Despite the fact that they all seem very insistent that they're true. But I have been really surprised that there have been people coming up to the library just for the scavenger hunt. I've been working late on Monday nights, and there's been several families that they come up on Mondays when the scavenger hunt is done, just so they can collect all the buttons. Some of those kids have a pretty good button collection now. As far as the tween programs go, right after they visited the museum, they all came back here. We have brand new board games that you can't see because they're behind the camera, but y'all can see here in the building. We got some new board games over here. It was most of the kids from the museum that were playing the games. That was a really simple way. We just kind of had a little nice relaxing time after the hustle bustle of going to the museum. Earlier in the month, or earlier last month, our children's librarian also did a Cinco de Mayo party, where he paired everyone's favorite nachos and the movie Nacho Libre, which I was very surprised that the kids were so excited to watch a movie that I saw that movie in theaters. I can't even remember how long ago. But then someone pointed out, I was like, yeah, it's the dude from the Lego or from the Minecraft movie. So that's what they all went for. I was like, yeah, that's why I was so excited about that. Our volunteer group here that we had sitting at the lobby, signing people up for break. Something interesting this year is we actually had quite a few adults volunteer. It's almost always teens. We had pretty much a new group of teens this year. A couple of kids from last year, but mostly new. And we had like an OSU student that was here every week. We also had a teen video making series. It was once a week. They went through all the different parts of making movies and shorts, and at the very end, they actually had a little screening party in here to watch their homemade movies. It's pretty cool. If y'all go over to City Hall to go pay your water bill or something like that, when you go up the stairs, you will see the team's art pieces up there. We did a collaborative art piece with little puzzle pieces, and the city was nice enough to let us display that at the top of the staircase over there. Yeah. And the teams did a good job by being following instructions and not being what some teenagers might do if you tell them just draw something. We started one of our first Magic the Gathering tournaments here. That's a card game that we build decks. It's been doing that one did pretty good. I think we're going to start competing that one. The Dungeons and Dragons one's always fun to watch because we actually have to start shutting down portions of the library because we have so many people show up for Dungeons and Dragons. Some people were really excited for the cake cut challenge. That was where it was a cupcake decorating program. But unfortunately, there were more people interested in eating the cupcakes than making the cupcakes. So we didn't have enough people, so unfortunately we had to cancel that one. To some disappointed people who showed up, thinking they were going to get some free cupcakes. We did a brick painting event that was kind of cool on one of the weekends. They were painted a solid brick and the paints, and that way you could do like your own cover. We had one family come and do that. You were at that too, yeah.
I was wondering if you did that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I've got a whole plan now.
Yeah. Yeah, I came in the next Monday and saw we still had the bricks drying out by the desk, and man, some of those bricks were professionally done.
Wow.
Way better than I could have done. I was really impressed.
I was
Brick is not a great medium for that.
No, because of the texture.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
the inks and everything is quite a
We did. Yeah. Thank you. Our annual Crowns Tea event was held at the library. It was a big hit. It was one of the biggest ones I think we've had here at this colony.
I'm having a sip this year.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. So if you did not hear, I do not know if we're going to bring it back the next year. Not a single reason why we're not continuing that one. It was just kind of a bunch of little things. But that it went out with a bang.
volunteers, or does it just cost a lot, or
Just a little bit of everything. So
yeah, okay.
yeah.
Was this month the last month was talked about at book club too?
So that was actually a couple of months ago. We had the last. So like I previously talked about, the Oklahoma Humanities Council had to disband due to lack of funding. But the good news I have is that we have started a new book club. It's now called the First Capital Book Club. The book that they're reading right now is called I Don't Want to Be in a Book Club, which follows appropriate for a new book club. There's copies available at the desk right now. And what we're doing is we've started contacting other libraries to see if they have what are called book club sets, which are just a large amount of the same book for book clubs. I do know that our teen and adult librarian will be leaving a little bit early next week so that she can drive over to Stillwater to pick up some of their books for the book club.
Okay. Another question. When
Yes.
do they meet?
It is going to be the same time as the Let's Talk About It. I think it's the first Mondays. No, that's Trust Club. So second Mondays from 6 to 8. Oh, we usually have some
Will
new
you
folks.
try to model it after the same, the Let's Talk About It, where they have speakers and?
I don't know if we're going to be able to get speakers this time around. That was the really great thing about Let's Talk About It.
Yeah.
It wasn't the books. It wasn't the. I mean, the snacks were pretty good. I ate some of them. And I wasn't looking. But the fact that they had a whole bank of really great speakers that they could send over here. I think Becca is going to try to get some speakers for some of them, but we're operating under the assumption that if we won't be able to get that many speakers just for budgetary reasons. Yeah. Also, we had Senior Life Solutions, one of the hospital here in town. They've done a couple programs, and so far it's been a really good partnership. I think what we discussed is maybe letting them have an open table out in the lobby, so people can drop in and receive education on some of the programs that they have there, especially for senior citizens. They're really putting an emphasis on senior care. So we did not have the extreme animal adventures, and when I get to the statistics, you will see that is reflected in some of our statistics. But the insect adventure did show up. It was a new guy this time. He was really good, really great with the kids. Actually, it was a lot of fun. I'm not a big bug person, but it was funny seeing some of the regulars like, Cameron, come over here. You have to touch this bug real quick before you have to go back to work. This was not a kid.
Some strange ones and some really big ones.
Yes. I think they did a good job of getting some of the gigantic insects in here. I think a big theme for summer reading this year was art, and I think one of the cool ideas we had is we brought in a ceramic studio from Edmond, and they stayed the entire day. They were here about an hour after we opened, and they stayed until we closed. And if you registered, you were able to paint a small ceramics. Some folks got statues. Saw a lot of people with mugs. They broke it down by age, so there was like a family one, a kids one, a teen one, and an adult one in the afternoon. It was so much fun. I know that the staff here were trading desk chips with each other so that they could pop in here and get some ceramics done. It was that was one of the ones that was funded through our Friends of the Library.
So
it was a really great program.
Is that a program that you guys have been trying to do again?
For the right price, yes. It was a huge success. It was one of our busiest days.
I like that place in Edmond, and they are so sweet and
They are,
and
yeah.
all of that. So I'm glad that it's supports someone local as well.
Yes, yeah. I'm just
Maybe
glad they were.
Guthrie, but they're in Oklahoma.
It's not that far away. I was really impressed with the fact that they showed up here. They brought all the supplies. I almost feel like we were their way when they were doing the program, but no, they were great partners.
Were they going to fire it and then bring them up here?
Yes. So they took all the pieces back to their Thank you. Yes, my wife says that I need to buy one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, she was an art major in college. I should probably have let off of that. But they brought it back to their place. They fired them all up, and I was kind of surprised how quick they turned around. It was just a couple of weeks. They showed back up with all the pieces, and it was just two folks came in here with big boxes full of these ceramic pieces, and I felt bad for one of them. I thought, you can just put that in my office. And they set it, and I have, you swung by my office, you see that I have a lot of tables set up for the summer feeding boxes. And she set one of the boxes on that table, and I stood up to help stabilize the box. She took one of the items off, put it on my desk, the one that my kid made, and then picked up the box and took it away. So, just to show you how nice they were.
That's very sweet.
Very professional, very great. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about was a bigger hit than I anticipated. That was the local artist expedition. We had almost 20 people sign up, but over a dozen people brought in their art pieces, and we displayed them in the lobby after hours. Shut the library down, kept the lobby open, kind of like we do here when we do these meetings, and folks were allowed to look at all the different art pieces. Local folks were able to show off their work. There was a lot. It was really cool that a lot of the artists had not met each other yet, but they met over discussing their works of art with each other. We got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of interest on doing something like that again. So
What was the artist? Was it adult, kids, a good mixture?
it was mostly adults.
Mostly
Yes.
adults?
Yeah.
Any specific type of art? Or?
No, we were like, if you can bring an art piece to display in our lobby, bring it out. Yeah. Networks, yes, super great. A lot of my staff ended up visiting to see what kind of artwork people bring in. It was amazing stuff that they did over there.
We have some very talented people.
Yes. We also did a Lego derby, so we turned our Lego club. We still do the regular Lego club stuff, but one thing they did is they let the kids build their own Pinewood derby car, and on the last day they brought the wheels in, and they built. Glenn and Jacob built a track in this room, and they actually did like the soapbox derby where they let the kids. Now everyone got to keep their creation at the end, but yeah, some folks walked away with some good certificates to one of the Lego stores in the city. So that one was actually, I think building the track was the hardest part of that program. but it went off fantastic. All the kids were so excited about, and I saw some really interesting things that I did not think would work as a racer, but apparently they did. Yeah. All right, so Art for Afternoon. That is a continuing program that we're doing. So Gwen will set up in the desk back there, and it is kind of a bring your own project sort of thing. She'll have stuff out for a specific project she has in mind, but if you want to bring your own stuff, you can do that. And it's been really cool because it's a decent mix of kids. A lot of our kids that come to the library know Gwen because she's one of the people that does our story time here. So she has a relationship with a lot of the kids that come into the library. But we're starting to see more adults show up for that too to help do some little arts and crafts. And it's been a pretty solid program so far. I don't know if I've talked about that previously, but I have. Okay. Yeah. And that made it like, we're thinking about changing over to this, but this one, it's been pretty good so far. And it's been a good thing to kind of mix in with Lego. All right. I'll go into more detail next time we meet because it technically was a July activity, but I was able to submit in the annual report for the Guthrie Library to the Oklahoma Department of Libraries. And new this year, after I submitted the report, it printed off this little infographic. And me being the super cool, not nerdy guy I am at all, I immediately printed this off and showed it to everybody on staff. And probably showed it to some of the patrons here too that didn't care about it. And I was like, see all this cool stuff.
I'm impressed because my history of the library 10 years, and it's been long ago. Library loan was so huge. I mean, we would bring in hundreds of books, especially when I was a guy, we were a little older. 33 items, that's because we have. You either can get it online now, through Libby or whatever, but we have it. That's.
I am going to have to be honest with you, some of that's a defect in the software that we're using. Yeah. A lot of the items that we have here do not show up when other libraries search for it. So that is why it says 0 items for the app, because, and it's an issue I've been working on since I've been here and it hasn't been fixed yet. But to your point, yeah, a lot of folks that come in and have requests that were not filled are usually able to fill it, and not always through interlibrary loan. A lot of times we can get some other way, or we will purchase it. We have a purchase list, so anybody out there, we want our collection to reflect what the folks that come to our library want. And if we don't have it, we want to know that that's missing.
Does that include the living requests?
Yes, it does. Oh, the interlibrary loan?
It's
So,
free upon patron request?
the interlibrary loan stuff?
Yeah.
And actually, you cannot request ebooks through interlibrary loan.
So this is just.
That is physical books. They come in through the mail. Every once in a while, if you check out a book from us and it has like a stick of paper on it and it has another library stamp in it, that's something we got through interlibrary loan. We also make you pay for it a year. Yeah. Which I will say that our fee is $3 for every library loan. Yeah, because it costs us $5 to know the stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to highlight a couple of these statistics as far as library card holders go. Even though we got that big downturn in March, we've been on an upward trend since then, and it has not affected our circulation numbers at all. Our circulation numbers are actually really great, especially for the size of the collection that we have, and it just keeps getting better every year. The holdings have not changed very much since the last couple of times we've talked. I do want to point out, I did a percent on shelf for the items in our library. It's not something that you wouldn't expect. Our children's stuff, is on shelf in less time because we have a smaller children's collection and it checks out so often. The device one is a little misleading. That 14.8% or 14.81% seems to suggest that there is actually devices here that you could check out. That is not the case. That 15% is stuff that is just broken and will wait to be repaired. Anytime someone brings one of those back, it goes right back out. I have never ever, I don't think, that is even with us adding new hotspots to the collection. We almost doubled the amount of hotspots. And it'll be reflected on next month's report because we just cataloged those, but we received a huge donation of hotspots from the friends in the library. They were able to get us on a cheap program. So we do have AT&T hotspots and T-Mobile hotspots now. Circulation keeps on going through. The attendance per program I thought was really interesting. For one, the between teen and adult programs all seem to average about the same amount of people, and depending on what time of year it is, would determine like which one happens to be most popular that month. Like I'm conjecturing, but I bet that the reason we have so many teens in August is back to school. That's when teens sign up for everything that they can get their hands on, and then as the school year goes along, they start dropping stuff. The family programs, I like that there's an upward trend there towards the end, but those two big bumps are very easily identifiable. October, that's our Halloween program. That is our big program. It brings in all the attendance. And that August one is when school starts. We do a lot of back to school kind of stuff for the kids. And then the early childhood numbers are off the charts compared to attendance of the other programs because we get a lot of big families come in, and it really, really is heavy over the summer. You get a lot of grandmas visiting with the kids that are at the school. We love having them too. It's a lot of fun. Story time is our big influence on early childhood programs, and those family programs, if you took out our two big events, which are the Insect Adventure in summertime, we didn't do Extreme Animals, but Extreme Animals would usually be one. The Ceramics one would be that one this year, and Halloween, those numbers would probably be on par with, the rest of the Queen team and the Bill programs. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump to the comparison numbers real quick. I mixed it up a little bit for you. That way, I like to compare us to other libraries so I can gloat. Just joking. In case another library director found out that we're on YouTube. But instead of grouping libraries by population, which is what I've done in the past, I've actually looked at budgets. Since I was doing out that report and doing budget negotiations, I had budgets on my mind this month. So if you look at the total programming compared to other libraries with similar budgets, we are about in the middle, a little bit high middle with the total number of programs. But look at that next page, we are off the charts on attendance for all programs compared to other libraries. We had almost 8,600 people show up for programs during that time period, and the next highest one was 5,400 folks. And the thing that I really credit my programming staff with is that those numbers are coming from all ages. Go through those. The only one that seems to be a little bit lagging compared to other libraries is the tween programs. That is mostly a homeschooling. There are 2 homeschooling groups that come through here. It's a very, very consistent number of kids we get for those programs. Our librarian has a great relationship with them, but the attendance is on the low end, and we're like right in the middle of the pack as far as numbers of programs go.
And that's hard because
that is one of the
during
hardest
the day,
yes.
If you're not in a homeschool group, you're going to get school.
Correct. Yeah. That's always the big challenge is like, those programs during the day, or do you try to catch them after school? And when you try to catch them after school, you have to differentiate between which are the bus riders, which are the ones that go home and eat with their folks before they come out to a program. So in all my years of supervising librarians, that group of kids is, and one of the reasons you see libraries that tend to cater to the homeschooling group is because they tend to be more consistent. You pick a time for those programs, and they will schedule.
Right.
I don't want
Well,
them to be
they'll
organized.
schedule it
They
for
schedule,
their
yeah,
curriculum.
it's part of their curriculum, so they'll schedule around you for the most part. It's a lot harder to get those after-school kids.
Absolutely.
But we are working on more school outreach, and we're hoping that we start getting more school kids that way.
These
And
are not unduplicated numbers, right?
correct. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we are the highest or almost the highest in every age group. And it's not because I'm running them to the bone by making them do a million programs. Like, some of these programs are a little bit on the high mark of average, but for the most part, we are right in the middle.
Yeah, I see that we're at the bottom from 6 to 11. I
Yes.
know that's hard.
Yeah, that's the hard yeah. Yeah, and another thing is, and this has been true for us this year, I don't know if I can use this as a justification for every year, but we had a lot of our kids age out. So a lot of the ones that showed up last year, they're now 12 and 13, so they're showing up in the teens. So I don't know if I went back and looked at last year's numbers, we'll probably be low on the teens and high on the tweens. Now we did have a group that is kind of aged out. We have one lucky kid who is 12, and the way we classify programs here, 12 is a tween and a teen. So she gets to go to like 3 programs a week. And she has not been bragging about it to the other kids at all. Humble as can be. All right, are there any questions over our programs or anything I'm going to over here in the director's
You know, it looks like our adult numbers are pretty good.
Yeah,
what I
and that's
wanted about the
also-
comment is I'm impressed with how high
Yes,
they are.
and that's also a really hard group
Right.
to get, especially without doing assisted living visits and nursing home visits and stuff like that. Most of the libraries I've worked at in the past, whenever we've had good adult numbers, they weren't from people coming into the library. They were outreach programs with us doing book clubs in their community.
Well, the idea is that you have 4 of your events that have happened have been just amazing. So-
Yeah, and I wish I could take credit for that. That is not me at all. That's all Becca and Jacob. They do fantastic.
Like the brick painting, I really enjoyed that.
Also,
And the ceramics
yes.
painting, I've been hearing little things about how wonderful it was. And so, yeah, I just thought that was really, you know,
Oh,
it's
I
sad.
am
So
so
I would be-
sorry.
I would be looking to see if any other,
I
it
didn't
comes
get-
back later.
Yeah, I didn't get to do any of the ceramics, but I did have to float in and out just to talk with people, or sometimes the parent can be near other kids in there, and vice versa. And whenever I came in here, when they were doing the ceramics, there were some people that were just insanely focused on making sure they got. And I was actually really impressed because I have been to the ceramics place before, especially when I tend to get stressed out. That's one of the things that my wife and I will go do to kind of decompress. And I will spend all day. Won't look near as good as her, but I still think they look all right. My poster in my office is actually from there. But I was really impressed how good the pieces were compared to how much time they spent on them. Most of them spent like maybe an hour, 2 hours if they were really intense on it, and they came out great. Or maybe I'm just jealous that I don't have near the artistic talent that some of these people have, which is fair and probably true.
All right. Yeah, this is great.
Awesome.
I'm always impressed with all of this.
Yes.
Especially with the funds that we have.
Yes.
So, and I really attribute that to you guys and your staff.
No, they are extremely talented. We've had like one veteran person and a very enthusiastic newer person, and they good energy between the two. Come up with fantastic ideas, execute them really, really well. I'm consistently impressed with that.
Facebook leadership, so that,
Oh,
doesn't-
yeah.
it's not going to
True.
Yeah.
so.
Absolutely.
But if I could thank one other person, we also, I am very, very thankful that our Friends of the Library group actually does put up, especially for our summer programming, they do fund a lot of that. So if you do like the programming that we do at the library, please consider joining the Friends of the Library for the low, low cost of $5 or buy a ton of books from the book sale. Sorry I'm venting, but I unloaded so many boxes of books yesterday. The back room is filled with them. So please buy all the books at the book sale. Thank you.
What is something you guys are needing or that we can do? We need more volunteers for, I know these programs take people, but
So,
and I know you have specific needs at specific times, but is that something we can help push for?
So anytime we can get the community engaged and know about the programs, that is the best thing that y'all can do for us. We do get volunteers occasionally for programs. In the summer, we have the teen and adult volunteers, and they help out with our programming, especially during the insect adventures and the extreme animals come in. And also I know I keep bringing them up, but we have some new people on the Friends board, and a lot of them have been really good about offering to help. So volunteers are always appreciated, but
Just getting the word out.
getting the word out is the thing that I think would help out the most.
And, if you ever want to know where any of the events are and have not been to the library in a while, you can go under Waterville. There's always a listing
Yes.
of what is up and coming in Guthrie and Waterville.
Yes, it's listed in the water bill on our Facebook page and on the website. And I don't know if I know I talked about the new website, but it is a lot easier to find
It
programs.
is a lot easier.
Yeah, I know the Facebook page is updated really well.
Yes.
It's always, I'm impressed with how often
And
they
we're all
do
listed
this.
on the chamber calendar as well.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
absolutely multiple places to see what's going on.
Yeah. All right. Well, does anyone have any other questions about the director's report? Okay, well, let's go on to the summer reading review.
Oh my.
The summer reading ended July 15th. so
Yesterday
Thursday.
was the last day for y'all to put in your minutes. And I hope you guys were better than me and didn't remember in the evening. I forgot to log in my summer reading minutes. Don't worry, I was able to log them in. But the numbers are fresh. I didn't even have time to put them in a fancy chart or anything this time around. But I looked through the numbers. I already went through all the programs, so I wanted you to know how the prizes and the participation was going. If y'all did not get a chance to look at it when y'all came in, the art piece, whenever you reached your reading goal, you got some stickers and you could put it up on a sticker by letter thing, and it's done. It looks great. I think it looks better than the original, but I'm a little biased on that. But that's done. We were able to give out a ton of prizes. We will still give out prizes, even though yesterday was the last day to log your minutes. You have until the end of the month to come grab your prize. And for completing the program, the children get a pass to the arcade and a free meal at Boomerang. Just to let you know how, now we'll preface this. I'm comparing the numbers from this year with the numbers from last year. Last year was our highest number of participants in 5 years. But one of our lowest percentage of completions. Last year, only 23% of the people who signed up for the summer reading actually reached the end. This year was 51%. We did a lot better. I mean, I'll dig into those numbers a little bit deeper in a little bit. But we did have fewer votes and, unfortunately, fewer minutes. But the average number of minutes that everyone did last year, everyone total, from babies to senior citizens, averaged about 437 minutes, which is about halfway through completing the program. This year, it was 513. So it was a huge increase in the number of minutes. Our overall finish rate was 51%. And we only had, I'm going to do quick math in my head, 40,000 minutes less than last year. Slightly over 10% less, but considering that it was a lot fewer people signed up for the program, I still think it's pretty solid. When I actually was digging through to see who finished and who didn't, I'm really proud of this. The age group, because we had children, tween, teen, and adult, the group that was most likely to finish the program were the teens. 60% of them, of the folks that registered for the program finished. And I don't want to be reinforcing stereotypes, but I am willing to bet at least a couple of them probably forgot to include their minutes. And so the completion rate would need to be higher than 60%. The adults did 48.75% actually completed the program. But what was really cool about the adults is you had to read, I don't remember how many total minutes you had to do. But the average adult that actually if you log in 1 minute, you averaged over 1,500 minutes. The tweens also did really good. They had a 45.83% completion rate. The ones that were not completing the program tended to be the children. Only had about 27-28% of that group that did it. But there were also small children, and if you have small children in the summer, you might have bigger priorities to remember to log in their minutes. So those usually are a little bit have a little bit lower completion rate, but especially like the teen and the adult, I'm really impressed with the completion rate for those. Really only 7 teens did not finish the program yesterday. That's it.
Wonderful.
And we had, last year, only 48% of the people who registered for an account added minutes. And this year, that rate was, I think, 63%. So the numbers are a little bit down if you look at total, but if you look at how much people actually engaged with the program and participated, I would take these year's numbers any day. Now, if I could combine the two, that would be awesome. But, that's up for next year.
Is it easier to do just the app?
It really depends on the
Because my
person.
daughter and I reread, but we didn't
Uh-huh.
log our minutes because we're trying to usually not be on the roads as much. And so,
I had heard that they did make a change to the app this year. I like the change, but I did find out that there are 2 ways of thinking about apps this way. So the app was really, really good at checking to see how many minutes you read and for logging minutes. But those were really, I don't want to disparage the app builders too much, but those were really the only 2 things it was for. But that was great for me because the only thing I used the app for was to check to see how many minutes my family had put in and to log those minutes. The people who really disliked the app were the people who wished the app had as much functionality as if you went on the website. And I'm one of those people who's like, if I want to go to the website, I just go to the website, not launch the app.
I know that like with the app, they did change from last year to this
It did, and it changes every year, and
Right.
sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so
And I
good.
noticed it has a timer on it, which is nice.
Yes.
So that way you can start reading, you can the timer and turn it on.
Yeah.
But I had a hard time like figuring out where to log certain things.
Oh, really? Okay.
So maybe that was user error. But it was just
I-
different enough
yeah.
from last year. That it
We
was-
did get a lot of feedback on the app this year, but it was really hard. It was about half of it was good, half of it was bad. And then, of course, half of it were from people who had never used the app before, and some of them had used the app before. We did have to walk a couple people through it. I want to say we had less paper application or paper trackers than we did last year, but I'll have to double check that. That's more anecdotal. I think I handled less paper trackers than I did last year. But this is also all feedback that we give to the company because we do the year-end surveys because they want us to sign up again.
Sure.
And I believe our contract did end at the end of this summer. We discussed this, and we are going to stick with Food Square next year.
Great.
We just hope that the app works a little bit better. Like I said, I thought it was great. It was really streamlined. It was really easy for me, and I'm also one of those guys that I think of things at the last minute. So I was like, oh yeah, she did read half an hour last night. I can go ahead and log that half hour. It was. I did like it when I forgot to do that. You can't backtrack it. I can't
That's
set
what I
it.
was
Yes.
finding, that you can't backtrack.
You can do it on the website. You really couldn't do it on the app. Like the app really was for.
Because I think last year you could backtrack. You can go on the calendar and say, I know that.
And there may have been a way to do it on the app, but if there is,
It's so hard to
nobody at this library can figure it out.
Right,
If I had to backtrack the minutes, I actually had to log into the website and do all that stuff.
okay.
But overall, I think this summer reading was a success.
Great. It sounds good. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the summer feeding program update.
Oh, right.
How full is your office?
You want to go look at what's...
Is it empty?
No. What's funny is we had a city council orientation yesterday, and one of the things that they did this year is they went and visited different library facilities, and they were supposed to text me to let me know that the mayor and the city council were going to come by, and I was supposed to go entertain them for a couple minutes. They did. It was just another city employee popped her head in my office. It's like, oh wow, you weren't kidding how full your office is with boxes. I did not tell her that it's usually twice as many. We are actually expecting a delivery tomorrow morning for more boxes. We've been averaging about 70-something boxes per week that we're handing out. They really narrowed the time frame that we're allowed to hand those out. It has not been as big of a would like. It was not as big of an issue as I thought it would be. We do tend to we start in and out 4:30. We get a big rush at 4:30. We get a smaller rush around 5:45, and then just here and there throughout the rest of the day. But so far, we have handed out, I have it written down, and now I'm trying to remember. So I'm getting those numbers mixed up with the summer feeding numbers.
And it goes to
2,800 meals as of last week.
meals or boxes?
Meals. So 280 boxes is about what we gave out last year. Or not last year, last week.
Last week.
Yeah. So usually you can go look in the friend's office, that's full. We actually had to set up another table there. On Thursdays, we clear this desk off so that we can move the boxes here because we still have the summer reading volunteer desk out because that is our check-in desk for the summer evening. You can pick them up at that desk, and I stay to around 5:30. You can pick them up in my office. I generally, the way we have it set up is that if it's a large family, they drive over to my office because I have so many boxes there, and they're all waist higher up. Really impressed with how strong some of those little kids are when they're carrying those boxes. I've had to break down that pallet several times. They're not as light as they look, but the food apparently is better quality than last year. That was a big complaint we had last year because really what they're looking for is food that is shelf stable, that is cheap, and if it tastes good, that's awesome. But this year, apparently the cornbread is really good, and the chicken salad is a lot of the hated thing. They'll all be that food. But no one has been complaining about the food, and I'm really, really happy that we've been able to get out as many boxes as we have.
Because I know the difference between last year and this year is we haven't been able to hand them out for a longer period of time.
Correct.
Because last year we paired it along with the story time.
We
right?
did it, yeah, we did it twice.
Right.
We did it after story time, and it was one of the things we started handing it out right after story time, and we just handed it out through the rest of the day. Didn't seem right to say, oh, I'm so sorry, you should have been here a couple hours ago to get the food boxes. And we also did it on Friday afternoons to catch people that were getting off of work. This year we're doing it on Thursdays because
We're open later.
we're open later and we have less intensive programs on Thursdays as compared to Tuesdays.
Sure.
So we will be doing it until the end of the month. That's as long as the program lasts. So we definitely should have enough boxes for tomorrow. We'll probably do one or two more deliveries after that.
Because, so, next year, if they have the same time location, would you change it?
That is something we will discuss. 'Cause sometimes I'm thinking maybe we would have more success handing them out on the weekend, on Saturdays, but then again, still a lot of the people that need the food have a job where you're required to work on Saturdays. So it is hard to try to get that sweet spot. And also,
Does it
I
have
know
to be one time? Or
we were told that you can do it over 3 hours in a week. So you can do it 3 times a week for an hour. You can do like 11 to 12 on Monday. Or you can do like we do. We do it once a week, but we do it over a 3-hour time span. I don't know. That was something on the food bank stand. I don't know if that has to do with the state or the funding or grants or what. But that was the stipulations we were given.
Because if it's the same 3 hours, could it be like 1 hour after story time? If it's at
That was the
levels?
really hard thing because we did give out so many boxes right after story time. But if we did it after story time, we would have to wrap up by the middle of the afternoon before daycare evening for a lot of folks. So that's why we advertised it during story time.
Sure.
We wanted to make sure that it wasn't on the same day as story time because especially for the people who drive in from the county, you come in to do your story time, you get your groceries, and do all your errands, and then once you get home, you're home. You're not going to come back. So we wanted to make sure that we would get folks getting off of work and the folks with kids.
Sure.
Yeah.
But could you split it up to where it would be just an hour after story time and then 2 hours
We
in the
could.
evening?
We could. We were worried because the way they did it last year is they just had a paper form that I had to scan into them every month. This one was a Google form. So the second you handed out a box, it showed up on their records. And with their grant stipulations, they had to pay the full cost of every meal in the box if you did not give it out during that time.
Okay.
So I can be honest with this. Last year, we started handing them out after story time, not at a specific time, just whenever they wrapped up story time. But on my sheets that I turned in, I was like, oh, definitely it was 11:30. We didn't have any 11:29 people pick up. This time, they lined up in my office, and I spent from 4:25 to 4:30 making small talk with them. And then once my clock on my computer switches over to 4:30, I'm filling out names. So we do have to be really cognizant, and we were really worried that if we did like the hour after story time, that we were going to have to say, I am so sorry, it is now 11:30, we can't get out of the boxes.
It's really unfair for
It
the
is.
staff to.
And yeah.
Well, maybe I'm hoping next year that will change.
Yeah, and now I've learned that it's hard to plan for the next year because we have no idea what the stipulations are going to be. Like we had a wonderful plan that was thrown out the window as soon as we heard
Yeah.
some of the stipulations that we have. And it's a great cause, and I've worked with these people. I actually went to a little conference of theirs a couple of months ago, and they really are trying to do the best that they can to make sure that all the children are being fed. So whatever reasons they have for doing the 3-hour window, I am sure it has a really great justification for it.
Well, it just prevents more families from getting meals by limiting the amount of time and puts pressure on
Yeah.
your staff. So I think that, I don't know if there's anything to be done, but if there, and I know there's
Yeah.
nothing on your end, but if there's anything on their end that they can recognize that and know that that's something that if they want to feed families, you've got to be able to work with you guys in order to handle
Yeah.
things.
Oh, that's something we're talking, and we're not the only location that has
Absolutely.
expressed that.
I'm sure.
But it's actually been a lot improved over last year. The thing that really drove me crazy last year was that it was very inconsistent when they would drop off the food. Because sometimes we would have more food than we could give out, and then sometimes, like, I'm sorry, we were expecting something yesterday, we haven't got anything in. We gave them all out on Tuesday, we don't have any Thursday, and that is incredibly frustrating for them and for us. Really for everyone involved. I do know that was a specific issue I brought up with some of the food bank people when I went to go talk to them, and I was by far not the only one. But they switched companies. This company is great. They call me most of the time before they drop them off, and they say they're going to drop them off. I get updates. The only time where I was a little worried about them is I got an email that said that the delivery had been dropped off. So I jumped out of my office and I went to my lobby, and there was nothing there. I was like, hey guys, did you see a pallet? I mean, it's a big pallet of food. It's hard to hide that. I even went outside and looked to see if they like dropped a pallet of food in front of stables or something like that. Maybe they misread the instructions. No, what it was is that there were 4 deliveries. They just made the first delivery, and someone may have just hit the wrong button and said, deliver all. So they came 2 hours later, all was good. But no, they were a fantastic partner to work with.
Well, boxes are great. I have 2 kids that are utilizing the program for their kids, and they're great. They have 5 cereals, 5 milks, 5 juices. They got 5 like applesauce and fruit sauce packets. You know, the kind that have the little lid. And then
There's like a protein for
and then
every
there's 5 protein packs, whether it's like the tuna envelopes, you know, the tuna packets or the chicken packets, whatever. It's awesome. It is. It's really great.
Yeah, and it's really making a big impact. I get people that I've never seen in the library show up for this, and the kids are not shy about sharing what they think about the food program. It's been really fantastic.
It's great.
I know my grandsons are super thrilled when they come to pick up the
Oh,
boxes.
cool.
So
Yeah.
they're so excited to open them and look and see what they got this time
Yeah.
and what's in them. And unfortunately, they tend to eat a lot of it the same
That
time.
same
But,
You're growing children.
They are growing boys and Henri with lots of energy, as y'all have experienced with them being here with me sometimes. But yes, but they're excited about it, and it's helped my daughters just tremendously. So
Oh, good.
I just think it's a wonderful program, and I thank the library for having it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My thing is I hope that this is sustainable every year.
Yeah.
They were a little bit late, not late. It was probably the same time they did last year, but I know I was sweating getting close to the summer, and I had not heard from them. I was really, really concerned that their funding had run dry or was cut, or same thing that happened to them that happened to our Humanities Council. But nope, they got the funding. They approved our application super quick, and we were able to get the ball rolling.
Wonderful. All right, well, let's go on and discuss the Dolly Parton and Legend.
All right. So as I mentioned earlier, the Friends of the Library are willing to try to fundraise for the Dolly Parton Library. The biggest hurdle, like, it is a fantastic program. I used to work at a library that partnered with this program. I will not say anything bad about the program or Ms. Parton herself. I can probably sing Jolene right now just from memory. But our hurdle is funding. It is an incredibly cheap program. We are paying $1.60 per book. The state of Oklahoma is paying for the remainder. But when you start crunching the numbers, $1.60 a book for kids in Logan County adds up fast. According to the meeting we had, we can expect about 10% of the eligible people in the county to participate. That is over $5,000 just to cover 10% of the kids in the county. Usually you get almost double participation the year after that, so now we're bumping up to almost $12,000 a year. In some states that have a Dolly Park library, they're able to get 65% participation. From what I understand, Oklahoma is usually closer to 50%, still almost 30,000 homes a year. And the thing the Friends are really worried about is that they will not be able to sustain that kind of funding. And no one wants for there to be a kid that gets a book from the time they conceive until they're in pre-K, and then for some reason they run out to the mailbox and there's no Dolly Parton book.
How often is the book per kid? Once a
One book a month.
month?
Yeah, they get a book a month from the time or when they register all the way up to 5 when they start school.
It's their 5th birthday.
Correct. And they apparently get like a certificate. But they graduate into reading. It's obnoxiously cute.
I would encourage your friends to contact the Kiwanis Club of Guthrie.
That's awesome. Thank you.
That is the type of program that we would love to help support for kids in our community. I'm sorry, they would love to help
Of
support
course, that's yeah.
for kids in this community.
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, we did brainstorm a couple of ideas. I know I mentioned Kiwanis. There's a couple other places. The person that presented, the numbers weren't any different. The last time they presented, I was really hoping that we would be able to give them a lower cost, but they did have a good ideas for organizations to reach out to that work in other counties across Oklahoma. So we may be reaching out to like the rural cooperatives. Apparently, they do a lot of funding for this in other counties.
Express Personnel has a
Definitely.
for-profit section that you can apply for funding for programs. Additionally, Walmart and Sam's. You do not have to limit yourself to one or the other. In your community, you can apply for sponsorship with both of them.
Awesome. Yeah, I know we use them for summer reading sometimes, but I didn't think about using them for this too.
What about reaching out to Casey's too? Casey supports our community.
They really do.
We should
I don't
places.
know anything about their corporate giving or anything, but it would be worth.
It would
Okay.
be more popular, we should.
And the Walmart Spark for Good program is separate from the requesting for funding. It's a program where people can select to round up to the nearest dollar and donate
Okay.
those pennies to a local organization, but it just has to be registered through their program, and it'll give you the option at checkout to do that.
Okay.
What about, since Lowe's is an Oklahoma company, when we contact us for donation, because they're really usually good.
I mean, all of our food boxes, big hubs right on the box.
So,
Had someone tried to walk off with a box because it was on the pallet before I could break it down. They just thought it was some stuff from Love's.
Those are some great places to start.
Okay. Yeah, and then they're starting off at ground zero, so they will appreciate any kind of help they can get. So I will, when I talk to them next, which will probably be next month, and now I see them all the time because they come in to take the books down. I will let them know about these needs as well. So that is fantastic. I really hope, I'm very cautiously optimistic that we can get this program started for them.
Yeah. Wonderful. Also, I do want to a quick note.
Oh, sure.
That I saw the Master Gardener's ribbon cutting. for
Oh, did ya? Awesome.
The,
Purple. Yeah.
outside. And I've seen so many people that have driven past and walked past that are sitting under the pergola and enjoying it, the shade,
Such
and all the
a
phones or
Nice
with the
change
book.
from previous years where
Yeah.
the sun seems like the focus right there
Yeah.
on those benches.
So I just, wanted to just extend a
Well,
big
good.
thanks to the Master Gardeners and.
I will let them know they will be a staff for that. And that was pretty much all the Master Gardeners. They came up with the idea, they bought it.
Mm-hmm.
some guys with, Kenny over at Public Works did a good job of getting it installed in the rain. No, less it rained the day they installed it, but it looks gorgeous.
Well, they've just done such a wonderful job in our community and beautifying our spaces and I'm deeply grateful and